Alright, so we're about to get started. We're here. Everyone's here for the Flask workshop, right? Alright. So we're gonna make sure how this workshop is gonna happen is I have about 4 or 5, maybe 6 sections to this workshop, and we're not moving on to the next section until everyone, or close to 99% of everyone, is done with that section. But they're done in a way that, like, I intend to spend as long as I need on this workshop to make sure you are all able to make a web app. What I'm gonna let me get this full screen. So what Flask is, hold on, let me figure this out. Okay, so this is, pardon the lack of prettiness on the website. I did this last night, and oh, it's not showing. Hold on, let me figure out what happened. Well, anyways, this. Oh, okay. I'm so confused. Sorry. Okay. Well, anyways, you can see my messy desktop too. So this is what we're gonna, in essence, you will have roughly the same as well. It's not very pretty. I apologize, but basically you're gonna be able to have routes to, like, go to different pages, do crazy things with the parameters. So I just write my name, save my name, and then we're also gonna connect with the database so that you're able to, in essence, remove things from a database and add things to your to-do list as well. So basically, this is the end goal of this project, this workshop, and hopefully by the end of it, you will all have something similar. Not necessarily a to-do list or that, but that's the example I will be going with. So that's that. So before that, let's get started. So let's first set up everyone's computers to be able to use Flask. So before I start, what Flask is, who here has experience with Python? Okay, so Flask is a Python web framework for making web apps using Python. It uses the Python language and a framework on top of that. And it's called, it's a micro web development framework because it's one of the smaller ones. There's a lot of frameworks that are rather big and difficult to use and, like, might have a lot of overhead in understanding it. And part of the reason I chose Flask to do for this workshop is because it's much smaller and easier to understand. So let's start setting up. So first, we have to make sure everyone has Python on their computer. If you guys already have Python on your computer, I would appreciate you helping your neighbors around you in getting that installed. So go to www.python.org and download and let that start running. Once everyone has that installing, I'll move on to the next step. And if everyone's good, I don't know how you could tell me, but I'll give you guys time. You can also check on your terminal if you have Python already by typing Python -- version, I think. But yeah, do help each other. And if anything, raise your hand and let me know if you need any help. Yeah, I personally, I think on the website it gives you an option of either 2.7 or 3.3, 3.4. On my computer, I have the 2.7 version, so most of my code is, I know works for 2.7. Flask supports both, but I'm personally using 2.7.
Yeah.
I think they're both, like, pretty commonly used. The main difference between the two of them is slightly syntactics, just syntax. Is everyone sort of installing it? Anyone stuck? If so, I'm gonna move on to the next slide. So the next thing is we want to set up virtual environment. So what virtual environment is it's because there's a lot of Python applications that might have various different setups that sometimes conflicts with each other. And what virtual environment lets you do is to, for your project, have a specific setup for Python, like configuration-wise, just for your program. So like, I would recommend like installing virtual environment, and then create a folder that you want to put this project in. So like, I have a folder like I named, and then I created, I set up virtual environment. I ran the virtual environment via this command inside that folder. Ooh, it's purple, pink. And I ran that inside, so I could. So like once we have that step, let's go here. So like, can you see that? It's at the bottom of the screen. Okay, we're back at the top. We basically, I will be creating, once I have virtual environments downloaded, I will create a virtual environment by running that.
Because you go back to the download.
Yeah. So create a directory that you want to basically host this project that you're going to be doing for this workshop. And inside that directory, in your terminal, type virtual environment. Yeah.
This?
So we
Then scroll down. Scroll down. And then let's go up.
Yeah.
Just throw this time.
Yeah.
And then basically in the folder for your project, in your terminal, type virtual env vnv, or the name of the folder. The link shows instructions on how to get it. There's no download link that you could easily do, but there's like, depending on your operating system, instructions on how to set it up. Is everyone sort of installing? Who's still installing Python? Okay, about 2-3 people. Who's setting up virtual environment?
I'm still trying to download it though. Is it Work Zoo or Jinja 2? Is it that one of those links? Did you activate?
So let's go on the link actually here. Okay, so if I pull it up here, it is right here.
Okay.
It's the one that says virtual env.
Okay.
And basically, if you're on a Mac, follow these instructions, and otherwise, if you're on a Windows, do the check pip and distribute first, and then go back to these instructions. What?
Distribute underscore setup for the Windows.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for Windows, follow that link. But for, what's up?
Yeah, it's.
Like, as in pretty sure we have to activate it.
This one?
Yeah, the distribute one. That doesn't work.
How do you run it with Python distribute setup?
It's not able to download.
Is it not able to download? That's a problem.
Yeah, it's the same. Wait, what? Same webpage. Which one did you use?
Or the website.
You got Python. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this way.
Wait, highlight. Wait,
Okay, so go to Here, can you read this link for people on Windows? For people on Windows, can you go to this link? Virtual, or you could Google. What did I Google? 1 second. Google Windows get virtual environment, and then just follow. And then follow the to install globally from the source. Only if you're on Windows. So yeah, okay, you're on Windows. I can't really tell. You can go to that link, or like it's if you search Windows get virtual environment, is the first link.
Oh, it doesn't show up on the screen, but it's.
Yeah, it's Google PIP.
Pip doesn't exist yet.
If you want to skip pip, just do easy install pip.
Yeah.
I'm from Hong Kong.
You have like some of the way you pronounce your words sounds very English.
I studied at British high school.
Oh, that's so cool. No, because I can like I don't know, I can't really like decipher where it's from. I don't know, it's really cool.
Oh my god. I'm getting there.
Yeah. It's not get right. This is on Git. Is it not supposed to be on Git? It can. What does this mean?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wait, I know you're thinking.
Do what?
No, right? You did terminal? Okay,
Yeah, I did everything in terminal.
Yeah, okay.
Even the Git stuff.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
No, because I was like, she asked me if I did it and did it, so I could not do it.
No, I did everything in terminal.
Okay, yeah. You did these, right?
Apparently,
You did 2 steps?
I'm on 3.4.
Yes. And then where you did you press enter after you start typing?
No, she pressed it down.
Oh, we're getting here. Look at her. That's so funny.
What no,
That's what you say.
Oh, that's so
You
funny.
have a question?
Did we hear that?
I don't know.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Jess.
She said we can hear what we can hear what we're talking about.
Wait, let's hold it. Wait. Let's hold a conversation. So if you have
Just talk to
yeah,
the
type
air.
back to me. Type back to me.
Not once if yes.
What am I doing for shout out?
And then like I help you like more.
Oh, are we installing Python right now? Where's a Mac? I can do the Macs really easily.
Yeah, Windows 7 Pro.
They just have to install pip, right? Like they're not finding Python.
They have Python, but like it's just like easy install or pip is not working for them.
Yeah.
Okay, Windows.
Windows is just like.
Yeah, can't you install it like by downloading?
Because that's like if you want
I did.
to.
Yeah. What's wrong? Oh, I didn't do that. Oh, wait, I thought that was.
Hey, Windows people.
Virtual notebook, or is it the same?
It is.
Then why does it say type install Flask? Okay.
Oh, because you activate it. I don't.
I thought that was activated.
Wait, what the?
Oh, maybe that should be the next. That might be the next step.
Okay, maybe. Wait, I only did as far as activated.
Yeah.
This download is.
Okay, yeah.
Well, no, I redid it.
Yeah, so Windows, can you go to this link?
Scroll down.
You got it?
Right through this.
We did it to
Oh, no, it's hanging up.
So this is the cheapest one possible. Oh, that's like 60. I'm sure a lot of us are, we all know what it is.
It's really hard to use.
Right.
Your end.
So I thought.
Yes. But
Command.
oh, then they said yeah.
So.
Screw you. Screw you.
What are you just writing stuff on?
I was also.
Right? I don't want you to do it.
No, it's not.
We just Bruce
Called it text.
Holy Holy.
That's so funny.
It's like it's a good directory, so you know how Java you can do like
Yeah.
so there's like small it's like recording math
I like how.
By the way, I swear, it's like at 4 a.m., like the way you guys are playing League, I'll be very upset. Like, I'm just crying.
Why?
Because all the League, like,
You don't?
I don't play League.
I don't either.
Yeah, but like they're all on my team, right? So they're always playing League, I'll just be so bad.
They're all on your team?
No, like in our team. Evan, Mark, and Alex all play League, so they can just all start playing.
Mark plays League too?
Yeah. They can all start playing.
Are all of you any good? Wait, Alex, I thought we all played League. Oh wait.
What is
Dude, like.
I tried.
Alex, I thought you stopped playing League.
Yeah, I tried. Did you? Okay, so how do you start? Right.
So
Then just put one of these.
yeah.
We got past this.
I'll fire a lot of money.
Every weekend now we get 6.
Wait, why? What is Mark doing?
It's flute. They just.
Wow,
Wait, you really didn't know?
No, he plays flute.
You got stuck on the insane from an instrument.
No, he plays flute.
Okay. Why did I say that? Garrett, do you off the top of your head remember the Xcode thing? Xcode?
Xcode dash select dash dash install. Why is this?
Zach.
So,
Pseudo.
yeah, so
Do we type this in like as is?
command line tools through, because command line tools is probably the fault.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I know, I
Great. Okay, hold on. We will get this.
You say you did,
First of all, it's just not accepting any of the.
Oh,
the syntax.
Yeah.
Hey,
So if I did this as is.
hey, can I have one person when you use your computer?
You can use
I
mine.
love this class.
Indeed.
How do I open it?
Yes. Doesn't work in that pseudo. Really wild.
Like he's just
So-
there. I don't think.
Oh, there's not.
Yeah. And then that's
I do that.
It's not like Python file.
I heard whenever that profile comes up, I just want to
Like Python and
Yeah.
file.
Ben,
Like,
can you
it just
hear
hit
me?
I don't know why.
The scripting
You
language,
did.
so it's like
Python
will-
Installing.
Like right now, I'm talking.
You have this for
I heard
this
it's three profiles.
Hi, how are you, Ben?
Oh,
Wait, Sabrina, you do realize anyone in the live stream can hear you now? Anyone listening to the live stream can hear you talking to Ben.
this is two. No, wait, what is it here?
If you say you hear me, I'm gonna punch you. Oh, okay.
Did you get it where?
Not yet. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it all.
Yeah, like I went to the
I don't have HDMI. Let me see.
You're gonna have to like not move your computer at all, because if it like, it'll flicker.
Oh.
Still like Flask, okay.
For people using Windows, follow Philip. And people with Mac, me and Ryan will come around and try.
So first, after you install Python, you go to the setup tools. Just Google Python setup tools, and then you should get something that looks like this. And then once you do that, scroll all the way to the bottom.
Okay.
And download it. Oh, I just got the zip one. I'm not sure if the other ones work.
So it basically kind of like because they also like your
Oh yeah. So download it here. Extract it anywhere. I think it works on your desktop. And then once you grab it, inside the folder there should be an easy setup. And then I just you first run that one, and then run easy install, and it should create a scripts folder inside your Python thing with pip. And then you go through command line and you follow the steps on the Flask page. Well, and then this should work.
Not this like easier than can you go back to the page where I can download it?
Yeah.
I guess. How do you want to?
Wait, how do you find easy setup?
Well, if it's text-based, then you have to, you can choose options. Is it like a, is it, what kind of content? I think text-based would be used. Yeah.
Did you install Flask?
I haven't found.
I don't know. I like you the before I.
Yeah. It's like, I'll do that.
Are we supposed to?
I don't think we're like after this.
Ahead. Oh my God. I'm so tired of this. Like,
2 o'clock in the
I'm
end.
not in my right mind. Thanks, Josh.
I ran setup. Right now, we have 2 big ideas. Tech, you know, like we're. How do you know Flask is text-based? The other game is like,
Everyone's sort of
like, it's like a story, but like text.
Oh, okay.
So like, you go through a story,
Yeah.
and then with friends, it's like you and your friend, yeah, sure. With friends,
Thank you for your help.
your friends, like, go on the journey together.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like, there's well, that's a fun part. So like, you know, text okay, Okay, have you heard of like okay, so like basically it's like the computer gives you a setting. Wait. And then you can like multiple options. And you think about them and then you share stuff. And then so like you're in an area and like you're hunting something. So like you can either go to this house, go find your food, and go find your friend. You go to this house, like let's say you find a zombie, or maybe like incorporating like small people.
I don't think so. Maybe Flask.
And then you're in the house, you have 3 options for weapons, and then you can run like a guy. It's a very simple version of RPG.
Yeah, it's like if you
Why do I see myself?
But what our thing is to do with friends, you pick an option to make your friend. What's that? So I'm. That's all we got. Don't know how to do that. Our very first idea was like an event. Basically, like you just push a button.
I'm dying. That was hilarious. I hate cameras. That was so funny. That was so funny. It's all good. We're good now. We're good now. Oh my god. Am I okay now?
Are you okay?
Is it like showing my screen? It's still showing me, right? I can't tell.
But if you.
Oh, I understand now. Okay. Wait, I don't. I'm just gonna see what's working fine. Alright. So if. So if you have virtual environment set up properly, you would see a parentheses VENV before your command line prompt. So is everyone, where is everyone right now?
I'm trying to set up virtual environment.
Well, children set up what's called.
So I did.
It's a clone.
Set up and we're busy, so now
It took a little while.
if you don't see it, head over to Michael. I mean, sorry, Philip. I just keep thinking. Right, like the mic.
We're doing an ad.
Okay.
It has to be. The struggle is real. We can tell there.
Yeah. Wait, well, look.
It changes your character. So once you're in the project directory.
Say what you want to do. What is my guy's mind right now?
You have no idea what you're doing. You don't have a direction that you want to go. Right now, you guys are going in the direction.
No, I'm fine with it. It's just that.
Beginning. So
No.
What?
Don't be that guy that just keeps it all but
It's like eventually like blow
yeah,
up
it's
and
like
like
you either blow up and it's be like, I give up, and it's gonna leave. It's like, no, I'm gonna just we can go for the defense, we haven't started. So like just start.
I'm still learning. I know.
Are you talking about like what we do? We can't do
No,
that.
I don't.
What are you guys doing though? Website?
It would probably a website because if we're doing the full
It's like
it's like iOS.
Right.
And if we can't do that,
Yeah,
no.
so that's
I mean, not Android, we have one. No, it's actually not. We just chose to not Android. Whatever. basically can't do that.
I don't like Windows Phone.
I don't either.
I don't know, like I can do I can Android, I can like run the button. Like Windows, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What are you gonna do? I can't do it.
We always have to look up
I think it only works once you start it. To get a different.
It's activated.
Oh, here it is, Windows.
Then you have to
Oh, my friend, this is really cool. Like, you want to make like a stock account. So like you first name, and then it takes data from like Google Plus, Facebook, LinkedIn, anything on the web, and then just like accumulates it, and then you can just see
One giant profile.
Like that could be so applicable.
You did it or?
No, that was whenever we were just like when we were bridging.
But like to get access to that information, what did you need?
API. Most of the APIs are from email.
Right, but like you also need like, they're like this private situation. You need to go through that.
I don't get it either.
Wait, is it just for both coding?
Oh, but that's potential.
Web apps are good for like
Allows the user
web apps are not good for like users with like one person heavy usage or big games. Otherwise, you can't make it more. Wow.
Oh, you can also use let's calm down with the programming language we talk about.
It's not that hard. It isn't, but we have to. It has to also be like useful for when you
Have you guys
It's really specific.
No, I know, but like, it's just, no, because I tried, Justin, can I change the name of your group? Wait, what? Wait.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I like lost track of where I am.
Yeah.
Like I got
You're so sound that event.
Save it for like.
So are we doing live?
Okay, if you want to make it go like.
You just have to download.
Well, yeah, you always want mobile like where life is going. But in practicality, if we use Xcode, we can only use Zoom.
I don't use
Oh, no, you don't. want to use that.
Well, yeah. Easier to do.
I use iOS. Wait,
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But everybody
Not on my phone, but like if I did pick
Sorry.
Android, I would pick it.
So
Yeah.
She literally.
Oh, I did it once.
Oh, yeah, I guess, but not like for like
Maybe games. I thought when I really, I have like,
Yeah, what?
But you are.
I made HKO.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Like,
So it should be okay.
Are you guys gonna make that?
No. I downloaded it. That's like the one thing I downloaded on the app for the Mac App Store.
You know, they're so expensive.
That'd be like
Five to read. So we're still getting a code.
Guys, we're excited. I know we added to
Like Kingdom of Hearts.
Okay, what did you do? Like, so after this,
The card combat.
depends how
I did
Honestly,
Yeah.
But first of all, we have to decide when to
Or
collab
like
or
do
whatever.
it in.
Two different like audio.
Alright, so then
You can, like-
we can like reconfigure it.
Yeah.
I did pivot some class, but I'm not sure if you're supposed to.
Yeah.
We either literally.
I was finished. We get somewhere. Starting is on.
And C sharp.
Once we get it.
So it's very.
No sleep.
You already saw it.
You should take a look.
Starbucks. Yeah.
But no, that was just.
Yeah.
When I was just like, just like,
We'll never be true. We'll be truly asleep.
Wait, what's the
Successfully installed Flask.
so fun downtime.
Okay, so I already.
You guys got that? You guys got this? Yeah. That was the last.
But yeah, we can do that. Yes.
That'd be a fun app. What's the size of this? There's only 2 checkpoints. Yeah.
You know, but it's like we'll do it this week.
No.
I
We have a lab. We have a lab.
Just do
Go back to the slides.
We have another one.
Yes.
Oh my god.
She's at 14. This is how well that I made. No, I don't get it. That's great.
It's beautiful.
Then I'm done with, yeah. And then I gotta get ready.
I haven't gotten them right. I'm pretty sure the X line is so fun. So cool. So cool. That right there tells me that you already think Windows is weird. Look at that. So cool, right? Oh, I can just like
I've done.
Yeah.
I'll download that and pop it. It is.
Yeah.
Should use my.
Wait, let me Alex, you're typing your name first, and I'm just going to display how it works. Alright.
It's so gross.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
It's like,
No, type in your name.
Wait.
Full name.
why?
Type in your full name. Like, you're just your full name. You're just your. Yeah.
What? What?
That was my little adding touch to this app.
Yeah.
Somebody took my name. Hi.
Oh my god!
I mean, if you're gonna make an app, you have to put that. Why wouldn't you add something in there? Wait, did you get it working?
Yeah, it's good. It's like basically just a button. So like you edit everything.
Xcode's actually like really nice. Although it's Objective C, so it's
No, there's Swift.
Oh, this is Swift. Oh.
Swift is so much easier. Where are you?
Do you actually have to install something?
Yes, you have to download. You just have to upload it. Okay. So yeah, it's like this is like a way well at the text. Are you attach that? Whenever you change, whenever you I think this just means you're attaching like this is attached to this. So like code line is attached to like what this maybe is now. So like if this was your name label.
I'm so good at that.
Unless except it's not that you just do hello and then
But I like this.
Yeah.
I should.
Can you go?
And can I get a raise of hands of like how many people sort of have successfully gone parentheses V and V before their command line prompt? Okay. Good enough. So the next bit is actually to get Flask, which basically all you have to run once you have it activated is pip install Flask. Yeah? Yeah.
No, I'm saying
And so that reaches the end of the first session for setup. Hopefully, just setup. I'm hoping the other sections will be much smoother. Such as type stuff.
That's the difference.
Yeah, like we're trying to figure out which landing
Oh,
web app
Is its own
So JavaScript, there is, so I feel like with a web app, there's usually something like, oh, you have to interact with like some kind of backend, and then like your front end is so there's like usually some kind of like interaction. There's like a common thing with web apps, like you need to save some sort of state. So in that sense, you need kind of like a client server kind of model or something similar to like a front end versus a back end that communicates, right? And JavaScript is mostly front end, unless you use JavaScript framework that is like supporting back end. So there is a JavaScript framework that supports back end. Called Trojan. That's not the workshop. I personally picked Flask because I thought it was the easiest. I've dabbled in a bunch of things. Like I think the first one I got thrown into was about the worst one I could be thrown into, and it was like Ruby on Rails. Ruby on Rails. It's good. It's very powerful, but it's also I feel like there's a lot of like if you were just trying to learn it, there's a lot of things that could potentially like. Yeah. Basically, it could potentially like if you're really lucky, everything might go really smoothly and it's really easy. It creates a lot of code for you, but you don't really understand what's going on. Well, it's like here I'm trying to like basically it's like much simpler and I aim that by the end of this workshop you will
I went to alright, so I went to the exact but after that,
You just want to make somebody see.
So this is where you want to
I just wanted to show you. He likes you. Anyway. That's not surprising.
So it's basically pretty honest. I thought so it's a lot Python a lot. And it's kind of like it's a stand up for this. Every time and it maintains that setup information. So like say you work on another project, you just have and then inside here, so this is basically station Flask.
We were originally trying to use the Android.
And it wants to have like this except until we move on to the
Is much
more like well-rounded.
Is there straight up computer engineering? Because I went to the job fair, like
How great is it?
and like all the
Let's take that next time.
yeah, a lot of looking for CS, a lot looking for like C, CS, a lot looking for just straight C.
Yeah, I'm asking, how is that?
Not here.
I heard that
Another
it's
school.
not.
Right.
One of them. CS.
Oh, you don't take it. They're electrical engineers.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I thought you CS.
Oh, your business. That's what you're saying. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. That's what I heard. Yes, it takes one.
See?
We don't.
I'm proud.
Computer is like.
Just read that.
Wait, what is it?
beginner workshops and then
I can take statistics, but opens a web.
My resume. Justin says I don't
Right.
have
It'd be like, so this is your first one.
to
Oh, yeah, like, this one is from YouTube.
Install the Git app. I don't want to do my ledger on.
Does it have-
my
have-
like the command.
Oh, I just used it.
Yeah, that's command line.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry, I meant like the GitHub.
Oh, no. That's the Trojan.
Yeah.
It's like 40.
regular.
Yeah, that's it. What do you make next week?
I haven't decided. I was just letting it.
Oh,
Like,
nice.
it's in true. It's not.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, it's actually like, the storyboard is actually like.
Yeah.
Really nice. And then Objective-C.
That's what they made. They made this new. They made this new.
Swift, yeah, I beautiful, it's really nice. It's like nice to read.
No, it's not equal. Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Sure. So this is actually.
That's like right. That's like the best part.
So much.
You probably like.
Is it optional or is it like?
It's optional.
Okay,
It was.
it's like, it's not allowed.
Next up.
Because that's just like second nature.
Yeah, right. Dude, some of them I don't have stuff.
Oh, and then they have to do.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I thought, oh my god, because print, it's like print is like functional print stuff.
Oh, now you.
And I'm not sure exactly how this works, but it's a great experience.
Yeah.
That is actually very nice. Oh, wow, they got rid of the brackets.
There were more brackets.
No, the Objective-C it's called function. You bracket the class name.
Oh, no.
It's like the word
Just down.
Well, Objective-C is, yeah,
It's powerful, but it's not, it's pretty.
At Starbucks.
I mean, honestly, that is literally the most aggravating part. Is that whenever you function hard, it's just like
Yeah.
dot may parentheses.
Right.
It's the function name, like bracket, open bracket, function name, space, arguments, close bracket, semicolon. And that's your function.
Yeah.
It's like, who would want to do that? No, exotic things exist.
So it exists now. It took a long time.
Show of hands, everyone's sort of done with setup. I see it as like.
Wait, what? You just have to make sure.
It's not Flask, that's
Wait,
it.
how?
Yes. Like,
Yeah, we're
it should be
gonna-
expert 6, and it should.
Yeah, now we're gonna move on to next step. I'll actually use it. So that we can start
Are
using
you on
Flask.
what?
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Right now I have.
Actually,
Okay,
It's just like, we're not anywhere.
so I'm gonna start moving on to the next section now, which is basically we're gonna create Hello World. And in essence, what's gonna happen is, whoops, what do I want to do?
Okay, easy install.
I already did that too.
With all this stuff.
Chocolate. And then after that.
Just down and on. Just easy install from the
Okay.
Which,
install.
ooh, don't die, computer. Okay. Oh.
That's her version. We can customize that. So like here, dude, if you look at mine. If you look at mine.
I forgot to install Flask myself because I deleted my folder and I forgot.
It's not
Okay.
something that you have to like. do.
So basically what we're going to do right now is, so if I go to localhost now, it's going to basically, so if we go back to, what we're going to do right now is I started my application. We're going to write this application together. Well, make sure you understand it. But I started the application that we're going to write, and it says that it's running on 127.0.0.1. And what this number is, it's basically, it's localhost, and it's on port 5000. So if I now go to localhost :5000 in a browser, it shows me hello world. So before we write the code, I'm gonna explain the code now. So going down, so this is the code, and that's what is it shows. And running the app is basically just after I put the code in a file called app.py, I will run Python app.py. So don't worry. I know I just showed you the code for 2 seconds. We're gonna keep going with it. So back to the code. So there's 3 distinct sections to this file right now. There's the bed at the top, which basically it defines it to be a Flask web app. This is what this is what allows your all the Flask magic, I guess, to be running, and lets it know that to run on localhost port 5000 and stuff like that. The second part actually defines a route. So localhost 5000 is kind of like your domain or main part, your root, and it's kind of like a file system, and you could basically put as many things as you want. Let's just say so this is the root of your website. Later on we could be passing in other paths as well, and we will define it here. But right now we're just saying if we go to the root of our website, we want to show hello world, and that's what we want to call. Or basically, if it matches, if someone goes to the website on your browser and types localhost 5000, it will match the root of the root route, and then it'll call this function hello world and return hello world, which is why we see hello world there. And the third part is basically telling Python where to start, because whenever Python runs, it's going to basically see if this will only run it if it's so you could be writing libraries, and if you call the app, basically, let's put it simply, this tells this actually is what actually starts your application. If you want more details about that, you could come to me and I'll talk more, but that's what starts your application. So that actually reached the end of the next section. So let's all get hello world showing on our screen. I will go back to the cleaner version of the code, which is here. And then and this is sort of also on the Flask website. So this is if you go on the Flask website, the first bit of code is there. Does anyone have any questions on what the 3 parts are? Basically, the top part and the bottom part are needed for all Flask applications. And the middle part is what you're going to expand on throughout this project or workshop. So we have to basically write in the text, Sublime or something, and name the file app.py. You could name it anything actually, but just whenever I use app.py, use your own file names. Does anyone have any questions right now? You look a little lost.
No.
Wait, once we have this, what are we supposed to do that when you work?
And then you could run it.
So do.
Oh, I didn't.
So.
I think it's just one. It doesn't activate. It just shows up here. No, it's 2.
Can you say
There's one between how and stuff is.
This is just testing and showing that we can do it. We have to
Save on my system.
So it's running like this.
Can we say this?
I mean,
Anyway, that also. I was thinking I don't know if I said that.
So you just want
Didn't we create a folder in?
Yeah, I sometimes I have no idea.
That's what I was
Oh yeah, because I have I put it inside. Right.
Yeah, and then so sometimes I have Ruby on 3,000, Ruby on Rails 4,000, Flask 5,000. It's I think usually 8,000.
Yeah. Or 80.
Yeah, save it inside that folder.
Disregard all the questions that I.
Okay, so did you get work?
It's more Ruby or.
Oh no, not inside the Vimy folder, but that you created Vimy inside that.
Okay.
Yeah. So create it, put it in that inside.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get there. Finder.
From Finder. you know, have you heard of like CD?
Yeah.
So I just navigate.
Where are you saving it?
I would say I would actually say how would we save it?
You know where your folder is?
Yeah. It was just it's like when I said it's like in that first one.
Okay, so you
I'm
have this
saving.
also use
I'm gonna save it to the project.
then touch, so LS, we're just gonna send.
I don't know if I should save it
Oh,
there.
yeah. So this is very simple.
I think you have one. What culture you?
LS will show you.
So I think you. So it's just like echo.
Yes, exactly. And then inside there, and then you use it, like,
Now.
okay, so I think just like, answer.
It's go. No, it's just radio.
Okay, and now
Okay.
what did you?
Anyone else have any questions?
Once you go to once you make that,
That's what I use.
Yes.
Go to your terminals.
No, I'm very, I like my clicking around.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people are on this point where,
So I think it's great.
I know, that's why
But this is
I.
just one.
sorry, I keep hitting that.
No, that's here,
So let's just-
Okay, so here, so I think a lot of people have been trying to run the app. So in terminal, just run python app.py and then navigate to that address on your Chrome browser.
Wait, go back to where is it?
Yeah.
It's in Windows. It's your C drive, Windows, System 32. So there should be like a Windows in there.
Give
Yeah,
them the
that's
slides.
That works too, actually. Is it slides.com/my username / Python or class? Yeah.
Want me to write it?
This.
That's kind of,
Yeah, there it is.
This.
It works? Do we save it?
No, don't say that.
You should also probably.
Wait, hold on.
Your mom gets to access that.
Python,
Wait,
and then.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay, we saved it there and then we just.
Live text too.
What's his domain?
if you guys want to follow the slides, like the slides are at this link. So if you want to follow along.
Oh, sorry, I think that's. Okay,
Yeah, JavaScript and
Yeah, that's right. Hold this
Oh,
back up
okay.
on our database and then you'll be able to buy.
Oh,
Live text is like that.
Favorite Python.
just like
Yeah, so just to let everyone know, the slides are on that link. So if you want to also follow along, like just say you want to copy paste
So
code.
go into that folder.
Not that I advise it, it's there.
How do we set up something?
Yeah.
Yeah, is there a class
I've been-
in your?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, you did not.
So who has hello world on their screen? Or somewhere on their screen? I have 3 hands. That's a little concerning for me.
I typed in the wait.
Okay, can anyone raise their hand and tell me what's the like where I should go back to?
I'm at Python app.
Okay, so go to in terminal, type Python app. In that folder.
But like,
It says, me, it says
What's his name?
There's it's so okay. Wait, just let me. Sorry. So I think the people are running into the name equal. This is 2 underscores. That's also 2 underscores.
It's looks like
It does look like it's 1 underscore. I apologize for that, but it's. Do you see hello world?
I didn't know that. I thought it was 1 underscore.
Yeah. So if you guys want, the slides are there too if you want.
It does. I actually Alright, everything ideas? What do we have? What is it?
What file? No, but like, yeah, what file?
Okay, we're gonna do it while. Nice. With the signing. You can't really.
Oh, I
His
see.
name too. Yeah, name.
But there's only 3 votes.
No, I mean, you can't decide.
Oh, it's like. I wonder what Kevin.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So you don't get a measure when.
I don't know. Yeah.
Right now, I'll try.
Will you save it in the file?
Yeah,
Like when you're accessing a file, you have to be in that.
Yeah, but like.
Actually,
I'm not.
I have an hour right now because like, if you know that this thing,
What happened?
it's like on ours.
And so
I'm not sure
that's
if that's
It's not doing it. Your mouth.
Right now,
The wireless. Yeah, then you add that. So what is it doing?
this is
Yeah, podcast doesn't have to be, it's not.
So, yeah, they can
You go in
something,
there.
I guess defense something,
This is.
This is part of our.
It's just last. Even if it's like it's so disproportionate. Yeah, this is the app that I built. And then once you're done, I'm gonna ask you a specific name.
Yes.
Okay, now type in her name.
And then once you're done with this, you go back.
Yeah.
I love that one.
With a cap, with a cap.
Go back to the directory that contains the app.
So
when I
right
right click it,
all these
edit what I do.
stuff that you add, that stuff. Stuff
Like, I also have like a get out scatter. Like, that'd be so funny.
Create web apps.
What?
No module.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Oh, so just.
So like when it went out, it
from running.
well,
Yes.
if you type in her name, it'll just say
But her name.
Do you know how to use
our last name is hard.
it's a website?
It has to be exactly.
You just yeah. Okay. Because
Yes.
I downloaded so many things today.
it's very easy to use. It's more like a database.
Do me for free.
Yeah.
I know, wait, there's 5 minutes.
I know what that means.
I just need my flash.
I think that would already do it. Yeah, I know, but for our purpose, no, just need a database. Right? We can use everything.
Yes, I agree.
So
Basically means like how many classrooms will they have?
Right now is
And just you know the who attend that discussion, just click on it and just show up.
I think it's
At a conference, it's pretty much.
yeah. So
it's like posting
and getting. I think this can do everything for us.
We're gonna do jobs we don't know this.
We can think about it because I think this is,
Alright, 17.
even if you're Python learning, you can only do it your programs. You can't really get. You can like I use my computer. I don't think you can get it.
Do you know JavaScript?
Not really. But you can just copy a file. Yeah, no, this is so. By the way,
Go to Code Academy. Actually, that is
Yeah, this is a cool.
not a website.
How did you make that?
Go to Code Academy. Guidance website.
no.
Basically,
Okay. So we just use. By the way, I'm pretty sure I can get JavaScript. But you can just do this. So I think I can get hello. I think I can get the yeah. So I think we can try this. Like we use the same structure on the parse because on parse you can access the same websites.
That's why.
So it's like trying to
Writing. Or just come up with something. Maybe
it's like coming platform and also and because on iOS I'm pretty sure I can't get it.
I would say, why do you think Notepad so hard?
when we call iOS,
Yeah.
I think I can like finish the app. With same kind of
We're going to create web
yeah, no, but we can.
I'll never music on it, so. It's just not a working environment.
Yeah, but if you are telling me to do JavaScript, I'm not sure.
We're not even using.
We're not thinking of that.
One thing that's really awesome.
I'm pretty sure I
If
can.
we're doing JavaScript, I'd rather spend time with it.
That's what I'm thinking. Go up.
Yeah, but I'm going to.
Teach me first. Alright, let's go.
It's good. Alright, okay. So we're gonna move on to the next section. So I think everyone has hello world on their screen. Sort of? No? I saw a head shake. Okay. Is everyone sort of on the same page? Everyone sort of has hello world on the screen? Okay, so we're actually gonna move on to basic routing. What this means is have more than one thing. So let's just say like we want hello world to only show if like we say hello with like no name. But like I just say like I want to say specifically like hello, like Janice if I say me, or like hello Philip if we say like Philip there. So like then we could define some of these routes. So what in essence that will mean is, let's see. Okay. So that would mean now if I go here, because I deleted that, but anyways, if I go here, it's going to say hello world, and if I say hello world Bob, it'll say hello Bob. So again, it's basically saying the @app route here defines like it when you go to localhost with port 5000, it sees it's a Flask app and it says like, okay, for the rest of the URL, let me try and match it to one of your rules on your app.py file. And if you define these rules, it's gonna map hello to the first one because it doesn't have a name, and hello Bob to like the one with the name, and print out hello name. what's my next slide? Okay, let's like, does everyone sort of understand that? We don't have to do that. But you could do that later if you want at your own time. Does anyone have any questions about it in terms of understanding? Everyone's good? Okay, so, well, when we make a website, we don't really want to be returning strings all the time. It doesn't make for a very interesting website. So let's try and do some HTML files. So inside, let's try and get our Flask application to serve HTML files. So let's first things first. Inside this folder that you have your app.py, create a folder called static. And what this folder is, it's going to hold all your CSS, JavaScript, and images. If you choose to use images, JavaScript, CSS in your project. And then create another folder called templates. And what this is it's to hold all your HTML files. And by default, Flask uses the Jinja, haven't figured out how to pronounce it, platform to render its HTML, and it by default looks into the templates folder. So you have to name them static and templates. So once you do that, at the top of your file, where you previously did from Flask import Flask, you'll now need to do you'll now need to import another thing. So if we now go to the website, I had a very simple page that basically had like a nav bar, and I just said homepage. But if we look at on the top of my app.py, I added a new line, say from Flask import render templates, and I created the homepage by similar to how we had before at app route. Like before was what we showed hello world. I now called it index and returned render template index.html. And what I have inside my template folder, I created a file called index.html, and I wrote a very simple HTML that I grabbed from. Let's see, I could show you where I grabbed it from. Cube CSS. So I just used the Cube framework, and I downloaded their source code, and they have an index.html. I just dragged it over to and used it as my. So if you want, you could also download that, and we'll be on the same page. Is anyone lost? I Google Cube CSS, and it will be the first link. And it's based. So a lot of times, like, so I'm teaching you about the Flask framework, right? But there's also a bunch of frameworks that helps you make it helps you create it writes a lot of code for you so that it already can look it has some styling for you. So the Cube framework has like stuff like nav bars and like all these things basically already defined for you to use in your project. And I think if you download the folder, it will have a index.html in it. Move that file into your templates folder, inside your templates folder, and then add something like that, like 5 to 6, 7, and line 2, and then run your app again. Does anyone have questions or is typing away?
What's the HTML file called?
Index.html, yeah. Anyone lost? I'm floating.
Are you not gonna have questions? Okay, so.
I don't know if my slides are really slowly.
Wait, sorry, what are we supposed to? Yeah. The index that is
So it's just your templates folder is just
What is this?
HTML files. So at the moment I only have HTML, but like I'm gonna
We need is
and and then when you download the Q folder, it has like CSS, JS, and then the index.html. So move the index.html inside your templates folder, but move the rest of the folder, like CSS and JavaScript, inside static.
So the rest of it is static.
Yeah.
Wait, we were all the other three folders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then put up my project.
There's also
So
a next folder,
templates is
next
inside
that
static?
also.
Just move that into
So
static.
like,
All the three.
so you have
It's
two
not
folders, static and templates, and then you're gonna move this
How do I
into
get out of
templates.
this?
And you're gonna move these three into.
Control C.
Control C. Oh wait, oh, I did it wrong. Thank you. I think
And you're gonna move this into, you're gonna move these into static.
so I need to make the folders again.
Static.
Oh, yeah.
Learning content. Templates.
Okay, so we move on CSS.
Wait, where did you download?
You can right click this.
Add a export. So here.
Do you have the? No.
So which one? Just go in static.
So the CSS, JS, and Flask go into static, and then the index goes to the HTML. What about DS store?
all these objects.
There's another one? I don't know, it's just DS store file, I don't know. That's it. Oh,
Nothing going on.
Right? Oh, you see so long.
Okay, so CSS goes to sorry, so like it has to go to
have that folder.
all these
It's casual.
We just have to finish downloading.
No.
TV cat.
The favorite class.
We should walk all the parts so I can get my email.
Do we add this? Like, do we? Oh,
So we add all of this.
oh, gotcha. Okay.
right, so to be able to access.
Wait, that
Gotcha.
Wait, did you download?
That's the stuff that you want.
Yeah.
Oh, where do you get the render template? Oh, render template. So dumb.
Oh my god, I'm going so quick now.
Progress.
What, this one? Okay.
No, wait, CSS.
Yeah,
JS.
download was
Oh.
It's like a great sauce. Slice bread.
I'd like to.
Okay, wait, what do I do after I'm like? Wait, did you? Oh, so I
I
want
understand, I understand.
these CSS. JS.
Yeah, that's done.
Oh, wait, so do we have to change? We're changing.
Where is this? What?
Oh, wait, I'm
Change
sure.
there and,
oh yeah, I'm just copying.
I should go to static. Wait, so did you go to static and then you download it too?
Okay.
No, you could, so download the zip file.
Yeah.
Yes, copy all the tools static, just copy the file.
Oh, dude. Where this file? As opposed to word list, right?
I know, we're not even doing this.
Oh,
file.
yeah.
But it's nice to learn.
Word list.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't really know how to do it.
Wait, so what is also static? CSS JS.
It's probably like everything.
That's fine. Oh, yeah, check email or JavaScript.
Yeah, you know,
Ready?
Okay, yeah.
I don't see.
my friend's dad works at Texas. It's kind of just other it's so funny. He's working at the upper side. He's like,
It might actually be 13. Watch is saying 13 minutes.
So if you guys want the navigation bar too, it'd be convenient. It's just this code right here. I just added to the index.html. It's just basically the 3 parts of the project that I'm going to get through. About me, maybe not, depending because the time it's like it's already been taking. So I might skip straight to the other parts that are more interesting. But like, we're definitely gonna get a to-do app done through this workshop. So these home and to-do. Anyone sort of have questions? Where's everyone? Do they have like?
Just extract. You just download the source code.
Mhm.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah, I would try.
So if you have like the nav bar as well, right now what you'll probably see is something similar to this. And yep. So in essence, like it's a little confusing because you totally put like the CSS, but it's not showing up properly. But we're gonna fix that.
No. Slash.
No,
You should drag the
Flask,
the app stuff. You like
We're too good to mine's going. It's working.
Dude, they went from like 18 to.
I know. I'm like in actually 7 minutes.
It's like.
I'm crying.
I just went to my class.
We're rolling.
What? Hello.
Hello.
It's like the ocean stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sunny. We're running here.
I think so.
I just because like I'm like in the moment.
Yeah, you have
I
to
like do like this.
up there.
Vlog.
Like count.
It's probably near somewhere.
On the left.
I like how it does the indents for you.
Yeah.
It's like convenient, and I don't have to worry.
Oh my god, we're in single digit minutes. I cannot even.
It shows you like a little line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I like so when it.
Do I need to
what
have
you use for
extra
Render
to do Java?
This now.
Use it like.
Does anyone have any questions?
Because like
So the styling isn't supposed to show up, right?
Start, yeah.
It's
So
just the 3 dot.
yeah,
Did you?
But that-
You can do like
we would
one
expect
line.
that once we put the folder. So we're gonna
No,
get to that.
I'm just
later.
making sure.
Yeah.
Opens.
I hope nothing is too slow or too fast.
Gian is like a special thing.
I don't know. It's gonna actually be better. You can say like just you and then it's
Yeah.
about-
It's hello slash
Wait, so like.
slash hello.
adding-
Oh,
yeah.
No, lower.
You
Enter.
can make
Try
this
that.
like, just make it like.
Hello world.
Any questions?
Style at the end.
Questions?
You just copy paste.
Just 5,000 is just a little bit of bigger text.
this is taking.
No, yeah, just one.
Taking me
Because the way that this works,
How did it work so we could?
this right here, when it's just the slash,
So you can just
represents
subscribe.
the root root. But yeah, it represents like
Just
the
establish a link.
After.
the root directory.
Too much is
Meaning that like when you go to google.com,
Just kind of. Yeah, how do we open this?
the slash right there is just running slash at the very end. It's like what we call it.
Yeah.
So the idea being that slash is saying ignoring everything before it. If the current
Like
URL
HR creates.
is whatever the domain is, but with just the slash at the end, then go to your. If it's slash hello, if it's slash hello, that's something without a slash.
Oh no, stop. I can't. It's been on 8 minutes for like a few minutes.
Maybe you should just not watch.
I don't do that.
Maybe it feels pressured.
It's not efficient.
God damn, computer, you've taken an hour to download the show. Shut up, you need to work faster. It's just like, you know what? There's just like a line of covers, like comes back, and it's like, you know what? Fucking just like immediately shuts down. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's exciting.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, it's like when you know that we put one.
You mean the inspect the element?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like, that's the one thing
Yeah.
that we learned. That was the one thing we learned in
We're literally
novice.
the only novice.
No, legit. They were like, does everybody else know how to like do what?
Yeah, they were like, we're scared because the other one was full.
And then I
It's like,
mentioned SRC.
We learned that.
Oh, it's a job.
We learned that. And we learned how to make green pages.
Once I like figured out how to work this, then.
Oh, you're not.
How are you using Flask?
The inspect elements. It looks like it says something.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you're just running the code. Oh,
And then
No.
so you can be like,
So like you'd be
like you can change someone's description.
Yeah.
Like, I fucking saw
Can you run the file? Can you run this?
Oh my god. So, okay, I'm not happy. It was just 6 minutes. Just like a minute.
So crazy.
So happy. Oh my god. Keep going.
And then like,
It works, alright, so.
That makes sense, you're running it, yeah, because it's a virtual environment.
So I'm saying Python as in, as long as you're not directly working on it, opening the website, I believe. The problem is that. Alright, so now we're gonna. Error. Is it different error?
Yes.
Oh, no, wait.
Do you guys?
Like I have the navigation.
But that's not there, like, see, if you like look at it, one
Yeah, like you're like, yeah, someone like.
you start your
I'm trying to open.
I mean, I just did that one.
Or actually, no. See here. Make it slash.
No, restart it.
Can you show me what?
Yeah.
Let me just open up a
It's called templates, not templates.
Make sure you're
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I added it in the nav bar, and then how do I like run it? So go back to just the Python. That's where.
Alright, so try
Okay.
recording.
So that's basically when you run Python app.py, you're starting your server in essence.
Because I did that, but it doesn't.
Without.
Oh. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, have you seen us think?
Okay, I think everyone is sort of on that page. And so I think the next thing is like I don't know if you guys were wondering, like the nav bar kind of looks kind of nasty. It's a bullet point list. Like shouldn't the CSS be like basically making it an actual nav bar? But if we look at it, it's basically it doesn't know where to find the CSS files. So we're gonna have to tell Flask where to find the CSS files. And basically you're going to, inside your app.py, add another import statement that just says from Flask, import URL4. And then inside your index.html, change it to URL for static file name and where the file is inside your static folder.
And what do you mean by the last thing? What's that?
So I could pull it up. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Let's see. workshop. At the top, I added another URL for, and if I go to templates, index, that's all of it. I pretty much changed this to, I changed the link line to the line on the slide. Does that make sense? Does that sort of make sense to everyone? And really what that tells, what that is telling Flask to do is it knows what static is because it's one of these files that it expects to have, and it generates the URL for that folder, and also and find your CSS files. So that's basically the 2 lines you need to change to make your navbar sort of a navbar right there. So let me know if you have any questions or.
Can you put your screen back on the
code?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. It's pretty much these 2 lines here.
Same as Red Guy. Yeah. That guy said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So should be fast. Never bad. Always fast.
Yeah, sorry.
Alright, which Red Guy? So it's the
Like slash.
So.
Oh, wait, okay.
Because like before it didn't
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, okay. The reason, before
You also did that, and so like when you press it.
UL defines an order list. LI defines list item.
Change the link. Change the
Unordered list.
Oh, I'm dumb.
Oh, I feel like I have it.
Yeah.
So UL is just bullet points. OL.
Yeah, it's just
Like,
like the
you could hack it.
And then you have
as
to
like
put in the-
version of
yeah.
the
LI
That's
is
what
what
it
it
sounds.
Well, you know, we're trying to like.
Why it's off your color is just completely off after the beginning.
No, like just because APIs don't APIs.
Well, what we're trying to do,
What
is
did that?
We're trying to just show like a word cloud.
we're trying to show
Stuff that people
visualizations
say,
of like what people have said, like popular.
But we also
I can
realize
tell
we
you,
could.
like,
Yeah.
Team.
Yeah.
Nikias.
Yeah, yeah, pretty,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it'd be interesting to see when like,
Oh my
it'd be cool if you could like change over time.
Please.
Like Kappa.
We're going to Yeah,
Yeah, but we're also trying to do it like for different schools.
yeah. Like across the country. Oh, what is it? No, you can say that.
Like, that was like,
You should probably
you
use
don't,
some quotes.
it's like, so what, the thing about that weird thing, like financial, like, called Lucky Chat, business is that you don't anonymous account because you can even like, you have to come up, but you can, you might not like anonymously or just like, say like post.
Perfect.
That's just, like, that's, I guess, like.
So you can- we can mess with
it. Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
one-
yeah, it's
So
like.
it's anonymous, but there's like, it's anonymous, but you can like remember.
Like, you can like talk to like a person who's like.
Yeah. So I'm like, whenever you use.
Whichever.
No, you don't
Yeah,
like, people are always like, oh, I really wish there was like a guy on the slash like
Yeah.
that, and then like.
Right here.
Okay, I want Euro for
It's like one of those-
Euro for is one that basically
There we go.
finds, it
Connecting back
generates
to
URLs.
So let's just let's go back here. I'll explain it here. I think I'll understand. It makes sense. So just to like show you what URL4 does, if I go to my the page I'm showing and do not view page info, view page source, what URL4 does is generate the correct URL to find your CSS file. Whilst before it wasn't able, like it wouldn't be able to do that because none of your static file is visible, I guess, to your domain, but like to your as a server, but like, and then but only static is you can't do templates index HTML. That wouldn't work because templates isn't like revealed to the outside. Only static is, and URL4 generates the correct URL for it. So URL4 can be used in multiple ways. So besides like finding like CSS files or like JavaScript files and like everything inside static, you could, okay, we're not doing this because we could do this later, but I feel like it's probably gonna take too much time. We're gonna, you could also do URL for hello and generate a link that could basically lead to your hello cast. Does everyone sort of understand what URL4 does? Is everyone just gonna sort of? You have a question?
Right now, like, what is it that what's it called? No. What we're learning right now, how's it different from just like doing the HTML?
So every time you're doing python.app.py, you're actually starting a server. Okay. So what could happen is you could run. Right now, this is all on your machine, so you don't really see a difference.
Okay.
And once we reach the end, when we actually start dealing with databases, you will see a difference, even though you're running only your machine. But in essence, this could be running. I could be running this on my machine, and let's just say it's a server or something. And if I have a public, like I attach it to a public IP address, you could go on your computer to that number I give you and see what's running on my server.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we're trying to say. Like, you know how you go to www.google.com. Google is not on your laptop, and basically we're trying to like give you this like client server model where like you could, in essence, create like see files that are like stored in a different server. Okay, so we're going to move to another section. This one is going to be a slightly bigger change, and it's basically templates and layouts. So I don't know if you noticed, like right now your file, say if let's just do this. Sorry, I don't know if I should have done this earlier, but it's okay. Did sort of have it set up, okay. So if we have this, like the home page looks like this. I have an About Me page, which you guys could do later. I'm happy to help you with it too, which is basically, it's the same thing. It has like a nav bar as well. And then like a to-do, it has, the to-do doesn't exist yet at this point. But it's basically all your pages are going to have a nav bar, or like you want a nav bar on your website, but you wouldn't want to have the nav bar in every single one of your HTML pages. It's kind of something that it's like repeated code. So one of the key ideas in like programming and general CS is we don't like to repeat ourselves. So we're gonna try and help you so that you don't repeat yourself and you only ever write it once, and it'll be shown everywhere, basically, as long as you call that you want to use it. So what we're gonna do is move all the common code in index.html that would be common to, so in all HTML files, you need like to import your CSS files. You need to import the JavaScript, for example, and you also want the nav bar on your website every single time. And really the only thing that changes in your website is like the main content of your website. So we're going to pull that all out. So pull it all out and move everything from index that is like belongs to like the common code that should belong to every single web page on your website into a file called layout.html. So what layout.html looks like for me is I pulled all the stuff that you had just now. This is exactly the same as your index.html, and I moved it. And the only change is where I used to have hello world, I now have this 25, like this on line 25. And what does it do? And then we're gonna let's do that first. And I'll give that until 4 o'clock, and then we'll see where everyone is, and then we'll move on to showing hello. Appearance-wise, it's not going to look like anything changed, but your code is now like it's set up to be set up in a way that you could develop really, really fast now, because you don't have to always do all the boilerplate code to like show your nav bar. And like if you want to do your to-do, you could just focus on the to-do rather than getting your nav bar to show on the screen as well. So really what you want to do is probably just like copy and paste duplicate your index.html file, rename it to layout, and just change the hello world line to line 25.
We should do the changes in the save HTML file and save it.
But save it as layout.html, because I'm going to tell you.
Same folder.
Yes, inside templates. So all HTML files should go under templates. And after we do this, I will show you what's the new content to put inside index.html. It's going to become, it used to be like 27 lines or something. It's going to become like less than 10. Let me know again if you have any questions about the content.
What should we save it as?
Layout.html.
Yeah, without having to, yeah.
That's all I have.
At most, like kind of like layouts.
Yeah, it's just
It's just like I think the framework that Flask for this like
Total clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
basically it's kind of like
Make sure
it
there's-
allows you to
Yeah.
start all-
So take out the layout and content.
No, yeah. Yeah,
Does it have
Yeah, but
an-
yeah, that's what I
I use PHP and stuff like that on my
No, it'd be right here. It's that
stupid
like trying to
but like, yeah, doing that same thing.
like that, and then do like.
I actually played around. I played around like a month ago.
Since we can get the
I guess like after playing around with them, this one was
I know, yeah.
Oh, I don't, let's see.
so like
I can we
that
can
was-
we go?
No, no, yeah.
All the right. So we can only.
No, you're doing
Yeah.
Isn't that alright?
I
No,
would.
like, you can't like say something.
No, no.
Get what?
Unless they get a new one.
I was the one freshman.
Oh, just kidding. Wait, hold on. I mean, this.
You know what I mean? Say, it's like an IP address. Which one has like.
Yeah, I
ID. So say that you post like 5.
That's a good thing, I guess.
You can't tell.
Yeah.
So you would just like.
So
Now
this
you
makes
would
it
be
so
able
like
to
the
see
nav bar is on every page
if
without
that
having to
gets the
recode it.
data.
Do you have to like call it or something?
If
I
that
don't know,
gives
like
you
reference it at all in the main?
No, but we're going. There's still a second part to
Oh.
this. So once everyone's done it,
Wait,
because everyone sort of like moved everything to layout, and I get a show of hands.
wait, so what should the layout file look like?
This is the layout file should look exactly like your index.html now, except for the line that says hello world. This is what the line that hello world is.
The line that says hello world is just blocked by.
Yeah. And then I'll show you index.html later. And then once you see it, I think you'll like click. It's kind of like Legos or jigsaw puzzles. Like actually though, because it's really like it makes sense. It's right now it seems like a little redundant. Okay. So has everyone sort of like, is layout HTML in a good state for everyone? Can someone's like, if
Also, what is the index supposed to look like?
we're going to move on to that in the next step. But anyways, before moving on to index.html, is everyone's layout.html at a good state?
Question.
Yep.
The thing, they said that for each team to be like a mentor.
So it's not one mentor per team, just because we didn't expect like 150 people to show up.
Whenever you want to ask for some advice, can we like find somebody?
Yes. So the board headquarters is going to be VKC 103. I'll probably be there until like 11 p.m. where we shut down. And everyone's happy to answer questions. After this workshop, you could talk to me, or if you have any questions right now, you can go over. But I'll be happy to answer any questions about like any idea you have as well later on. All right, so moving on to I'm going to move on to the index.html now. So, so this is all index.html now looks like. And I don't, you know how before you had, yes. See the jigsaws, man. So basically before you had like percent block buddy, end block. And then you're basically saying like, I want to use layout, but instead of that empty block buddy, I want to replace it with this this part. So it's kind of like you allocated a space in your layout.html. You allocated the space for your buddy, and inside your other files now, you're just going to define the buddy. Does anyone have any questions? Is everyone kind of like had a light bulb moment like that? Awesome. So any questions? So this is now the content of your index.html. You look a little lost.
Yeah, mine just didn't work. I just have extends layout the HTML written at the top.
Let's see.
Oh, between
You just delete all of your index. This?
should layout the HTML be
You haven't created
the same
Yeah, we
directly
change it to
index?
this. All the HTML files a little earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so just space, right?
That's a nifty though.
Yeah, so it's important not to have spaces between the curly braces and the percentage sign. Because that's what Flask it tells Flask that it's like one of its important.
No, that's.
Space.
And then save it. Let's look at your layout.
Use Sublime.
I
Oh, you can you do this?
can.
Where I thought.
Yeah. Remember we were going?
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was a long time ago. Where's the slides? Slides.
Would you turn
Is there space? Between
Just-
one and three.
What is it?
Oh, just kidding.
Did you get this one?
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh, okay. Can you help?
Oh, it's white, so you save it.
Wait, what do you do?
I saved it.
We're at the right one.
Say how do you do this?
You turn your app. Yeah.
What do you do for this? Did you get it from Q?
That's what I got there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, just get Q in the very middle of the web page. Middle of the web page. Downloads.
And then just open it, you'll see. Take CSS and JS.
No, get rid of the content.
I think it's Slack.
So go to layout.
Go here, wherever this is stored.
Why is it still?
Oh.
I'm getting this.
Okay, that's a weird place to put it. Consider it.
Yeah, that's fine. For your
So,
content
yeah,
time,
okay,
do
so-
an
Actually,
exclamation.
nice.
Is,
Just create a new,
is the title of your
call it static. Yeah, and then a new folder. Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Mom, she called me at like 6 this morning. It's like, it's like 3 hours ahead.
Oh.
If they were like doing this
Because I
career
got,
thing, and she was like,
So now it's static.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
She made me Skype her.
Okay, back.
And I left her a video on audio. So I was like, you need to watch. I was like, okay. You watch something.
Yeah, I don't know why, like. Okay, now I'm.
All right, try running it.
Oh, really? What is it?
Actually, I want to try something too. So run it.
So it's running.
Just run it.
Like,
I think you can stop it.
index essentially,
I don't know if I stopped it.
it just
How do
extends
you, like,
layout,
stop
so it
the
just takes all your control layouts and whatever it calls it. It's just like, it just like connects it all. So, cause like, you know, when you do Java, you want your most detailed.
Everyone sort of have like the website looking exactly the same, but they now separate out layout and the content. Everyone's sort of there, even the back corner there. Sort of.
He doesn't have it there yet.
Yeah. I'm happy to help out at the end as well. I'm gonna move forward to the next step, which I don't remember what it is. Let me go look back at my slides. So that's a don't repeat yourself. So it's nice. So now if you like do future websites or sign up future pages for your website, all you have to do is do extend layout, block body, and inside your block, inside this block area, define the content. So you could also like, this is where the cool things happen. So we don't necessarily have to do this. This is just for demonstrating, I guess. Tag. We should. But basically, it's also possible to say like have like call hello page, which was like it's a hello world. I put it on with the nav bar this time though, like nothing special. But now if I do like Bob again, it can say hello Bob, and really that's just putting Python inside your HTML and what hello page. Okay. And really what it's doing is these like curly braces percent signs tells Flask that inside these I guess like pair of brackets it's actually executing Python code. So this lets you say like if name, then like say hello name, otherwise say hello world. And if we, and in terms of like passing name, like if you might be asking like, oh, then how does this website know like, or how does this page know what name is? Like if we go into like app, I just added a new one here. So you could also define multiple routes to a function. So like if it's just hello page or hello page with a name, I could just and then pass in name to the function, and that could be used inside render template. So this is where I say name equals name. is where I tell the HTML file what name is. This sort of people understand. We're not necessarily going to do that because it's. You mean if you want to, you can follow my slides later and ask me any questions. But just in the interest of time, we're going to move on. So does everyone sort of understand what's going on there and how you could pass parameters into? Okay. So I think the next bit, okay, is so HTTP methods. Does anyone here know what HTTP methods are? Like, you guys know what the difference between a get and a post? So I don't know if you've noticed, excuse me. Like when you're running, a lot of times here it keeps going like get, and get. So a lot of times, most of the times when you call things, by default, Flask runs them through a HTTP get method. And what get does is basically it's like saying like, can you fetch me this file content, or like fetch me this information? So get is typically like, can you please give me this information or give me this web page? On the other hand, there's another HTTP method called post. And what post does is your post is basically telling the server that you're messaging that like, hey, I'm about to give you some information. And that's like the post request is the content of your, you're telling the server something. You're not trying to get something, you're trying to tell them something. So typically what post you should think to be using post is like, if you're trying to like submit a form, you're trying to give the server information, you would do a post. If you're, let's just say there's a database and you want to update or add a to-do or delete a to-do, it will also be a post. But if you're just like, for example, reading a database, you could use a get because you're just reading information. Does everyone sort of understand the difference between a get and a post? Yeah? Wait, no? Okay. And so how you could, by default, all routes are get requests in Flask. And to change it to post request, so just say you want one of your routes to be a post request, you could just like add this method's like post to the end of it. It's also possible for one route to be both post and get. So how you can do that is, for example, just define that it's both a post and get. So depending on how it does things now, it will trigger the get request action or the post request action. If I'm losing anyone at any point in time, please let me know as well. And we're also not going to be doing this because I couldn't think of a good way to like interact, get it working in a not like annoying or not pointless way. So I'm just going to demonstrate it. So hold on, I need to go get the code again. Check out. So if I open it here, now my hello homepage has an extra button. Don't worry about it. I just added a button. So when you type into a browser address bar, it by default again is also a get, because the most common action when you browse the internet is a get. You're trying to get that HTML page, you're trying to get that CSS file or that image. So if you press enter here, it shows that it's a get request. However, let's just, this is actually secretly a form. It's a form with only one button, but I'm trying to post to the server telling them that I pressed a button. And then so when I press this button, you can see that the address is exactly the same, but it sees it as a post request. And then if we look back at the source code, so I mentioned this is how you you could basically check like what method it is by doing post, and then if it's not, then it must be a get. Does anyone have any questions here at any point right now? Like, or do people like not necessarily understand code, but like at least understanding the difference between a get and a post, because that's pretty important to the next part of the project, the last part of the project workshop.
Can you just repeat again the basic difference?
Yeah. So a get is typically like you're not you just want to get information. So a get like get information. So like let's just say you're if you look here, you see a lot of gets. Like so. Oh, okay. And then see that last one that you see like as a get. I'm trying to get this web page. I'm trying to get this like the JS file. I'm trying to get the CSS file. These are all gets. But then when I press that button, or what a post is basically when you want to tell the server information or give the server information. So when you fill in a form and you press submit, frequently that's a post request because you're trying to give. And then like when you read, you want to add a new entry to a database, for example, like add a new entry to like the database on a server. That will also be a post because you're modifying some data. And yeah, so that's, I guess like the way I would go about doing it is like basically if you're like you're interacting with the server this whole time, right? And if you are modifying anything, you want to modify anything in the server, it should be a post. And if you're just retrieving information, it'll be typically a get. There are exceptions, and it's possible to do post things in get, just not, it's not good practices. Okay, so so we move on to the last part of the project, and this is the actual to-do list, and we'll be interacting with the database. But before we actually could get started with that, excuse me, we actually need to do a little more installing. So this last bit, let's first install SQLite. So basically, the database that we're going to store all our to-dos in is going to be the SQLite database. And that's just like one of the type, it uses a SQL to query it. So SQL means, it's blanking on me now. Yeah, I have a Q&L query language. What's the S? So structured query language, and it's sort of a very structured English. You'll see it later, but let's start off with installing SQLite. Let me know if you have any questions as well on any past content. Did you figure it out? No?
Yeah.
You got it?
I got a box. Thank you.
I think it's also possible. I don't know if it's because I forgot. But Macs might already come with SQLite. If actually, who wants to? Does it?
I'm not sure.
Who wants to let me try to see if?
Yeah.
I think it comes with. Someone might want to.
Green memo.
Maybe I got it. Just
Which one do I download?
yeah, just do the pre-compiled. Fine. So the one that's yeah.
Oh.
So we download the zip file.
Command line.
Yeah.
SQLite amalgamation.
Yeah. Let's actually pull it open now.
Command line.
Go down to the pre-compiled binary.
Oh. So downloads. I would say command like the command line one would be good. If anyone's kind of lost or need any help, please let me know. I don't want anyone to fall behind, although I know.
So Windows is right below.
Yep.
So you just double click on it.
Yep, and then zip it, follow any instructions. This might be the point where I go like, oh God, what's going on again? Because I didn't actually do the downloading last night because apparently it was all on my computer already. But hopefully it works. Yes. So we're going to be storing our to-dos here. And hopefully by 5 o'clock, we will have something. Whoops. Did I not restart it?
Oh, it's really user preferences.
Hopefully by the end of it, we will have a to-do app that you could basically add a million tasks to it and remove it when you're done. So that's the end goal by about 5, but I'm going to just say 5:30, maybe 6. I'm happy. Well, no, I'm hoping it doesn't take till 6. I'm kind of. I don't expect it. It's like it's really really short. After we get the installation done, it's really just a few lines. Is everyone taking a bathroom break? break. Okay.
So I
think it's because they just sent them like a text to everyone that says like we need want a cookie and it's like 1 of 3.
I want a cookie.
There's a cookie on one.
No.
Oh, yeah. You should go get one. Yeah, you should like target you for this whole time.
Go get a cookie. That'd be sick.
You can bring us a cookie. I'm gonna bring us a cookie back.
I don't know if I can walk for birthday though.
They're like, promise I have 6 cookies too. I'm not taking myself. Swear.
Wait,
I'm gonna go and explain that they took away half.
Oh my god.
is there white
Oh
macadamia in
my.
that?
Yeah, no. Well, this stuff
Sequel's actually.
Sequel's
Yeah, I worked with
Where's it
that
from?
years ago.
Really good.
I'm so hungover.
Are you on today?
What?
I'm going to go back to
Berkeley.
Like bored over some students.
Get chips. A couple cookies.
Get chips? You bored? Why? Oh my god.
No, there's a lot.
Wait, what do you mean? Like instead of boarding?
Yeah.
Like those cookies are very-
I'm not like, I'm not hungry, but I'm super hungry.
So why do you want to put eating again at 7? I don't know. Why would you just like this? Oh, you can get chips from like Trojan. Yeah, but I want big chips.
I still have like my party set.
Big chips.
I mean, it's not still full, but it's like.
Okay.
I saw vinegar chips.
Are you guys still going outside?
I just want some.
Well,
I kind of want like my sweater.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Yeah.
Guys, we need to make an application.
Is it even related to me?
what am I? Are you like?
It is because.
No, it is.
Would it-
But like we're
did you
using
have one?
it's good.
Oh,
So it's different. Like,
I'm halfway through now.
Wait, I'm. Why is the down?
Oh,
I'm down in
Okay, yeah.
Expo. You're fine.
that's
Oh my
cool.
God, sorry to bring you a cookie.
Do you guys not want a cookie? There's still cookies.
A bunch.
It's basically you get cookies before you run out.
Running.
Can you guys tell me your names? Rowan.
Annie.
I think you told me before. Give me that. Just get you to it. Creighton.
Harrison.
There were.
Too many names to remember. Devin. Name? Okay, sorry, Sabrina.
Sinhai, but people call me Sin.
Honey? Can you? No, it's no problem.
Okay, I'll call you.
I want
We'll get you 2 minutes and more. This probably shouldn't take that long. It actually turns out to be like, I felt like Flask interacting with the database was one of the easiest, like compared to all my other experiences with working with like having to connect with a database in another framework. I would say like Flask was one of the easier ones to understand and actually use. So is everyone sort of back? I think.
Like,
We're just
we
missing
can
one
hope for
person.
like our ability to make something.
We will get there.
No, I mean like on our own.
No, we will get there. Don't lose hope. Hope is always like no, you can't lose hope. Okay, so like, okay, so just in case everyone forgot, like, and loses hope, this is the end goal of our project that we're gonna have. Although we're gonna be able to add to-dos, and it will show up on our to-do list, and we could mark them as done or not done. So back to the presentation. So has everyone sort of got SQLite installed?
Yeah, we have that command line from.
Cool. I hope that will work. It probably would work for the Mac. I don't know for Windows. So everyone has SQLite installed? I'll take that as a yes. So we're now going back to the app.py file that we've sort of ignored for a while now. And what we're going to do is we're going to add an import so that you're able to use the SQLite in code in your yeah. Yeah, at the top, or basically before app equals Flask. So everything before app equals Flask are all imports. You're just saying like from Flask, so okay, let's just say there's like here's importing SQLite 3, and then from Flask import Flask, for example. That's kind of saying like Flask is like a very big there is a library with many different parts, and you're saying specifically what parts do you want to use, and then import SQLite 3. Basically, you're importing the whole SQLite 3 library. So at the top, so it's gonna look a little overwhelming, like a lot of code, but okay. So I imported a bunch of stuff that we're going to need. So most of these you'll see later, but okay, let's not do that. So okay, so at the top of your okay, yeah, at the top of your, make sure you import SQL3 before app equals Flask, and then add after the app equal, and then even also before the app equal Flask area, add some configuration information, and this configuration information, the variable name must be in all caps, because this is how Flask knows it's a configuration variable.
So it has to be after import?
So after import, but before app equals.
Okay.
And then when you do import, you don't have to do from Flask before.
No. So the SQLite 3 is a separate library. So it's not part of this. So when you say from Flask import URL4, Flask is like a big library, like has like many parts to it, and you're just saying I want specifically URL4. When you do import SQLite 3, you're saying I want to use the whole SQLite 3 library.
Oh.
Another library. Yeah.
It's like it's
Well, I mean, you import.
yeah, I know, but like what's it called? No, not packages. Good for them in all caps. Constant variables. Yeah, that's the. Is it like state? The whole.
Brew is honestly the greatest.
It like works.
That's all I need. Right?
Yeah, that's all you need for installation, and then we're not configuring the application to use it.
So after that, we need to add app.config.
Yeah, so after the app equals Flask, so this is all before the app equals Flask name line, and right after the app equals Flask name line, add this line as well. And basically what this line does, it actually opens this file and tries, okay, it doesn't literally opens this file, but what it's doing is in this file, every time it sees a capital, a variable that's all capital equals, it understands that as configuration, and this is the line that's actually loading all the configuration information into your application for you to use later on. So does everyone sort of have that done? App.py. So everything above is sort of above this bit is before the app equals Flask line, and everything after this comes right after the app equals Flask line. Do you have the slides open? You could. You can pass it. I could definitely go. I don't have. I think it's slides.com/jjw1707 /Flask. And we're on the last section. So does everyone have the config code set up? Yes. Yep. Question?
Wait, which file does that go?
App.py. Everyone else sort of good? Okay. And then we're setting up the schema. So this is in a new file. This will go in the same folder as your app.py. And what this excuse me, file is doing is defining your table. So what it does is basically saying, I want to have a table inside your database. Your schema defines what information you want to store in your database. You're saying, so what you're saying is inside your database you can have many tables, but for one of these tables you want to store your tasks, and your task is going to have an ID and also a name, which is I called it a name, but it's really the name of your task. And what you also want to say, like at the top of this file, you run drop table if exists tasks, and that basically says that if there's existing information, because you only want to run the schema when you're starting like your application from scratch, and you're like basically clearing out old information. So that basically drops all the information in that table if that table has been created before and starts it from scratch. So what this will look like is in a file called schema.sql. Open. Okay, it's just stat. And this literally saying create if there's already a table called task, delete it. I don't know what that task table is. It might be a table that someone else created, but I want a new table called task. And then the 2 to 5 is basically saying I'm creating a table that was going to hold all my task information, and the task information I'm holding is basically the ID, which is a number that will always be unique and will automatically increment at every time I create a task, and the name of the task to be done. Is there any questions?
Yeah, where are we saving this?
Where is saving? Okay, so save it in the same location as app.py. So same folder as app.py. Hello. Any questions? Right there.
What's the name? Schema.stl.
You good? Lost? You're done?
Please explain what's in the middle 2 lines again.
Yeah. So it's basically saying I want to create a table with the following information, and that information is I want to have an ID for each task so that I could uniquely identify it. So I might create I can't use the name as the unique identifier because I might be I might create 10 tasks with the same name.
So it has to be an integer.
Yeah. So that's the ID, and I'm basically saying that it must be the primary key part of it says that it's must be unique. And then auto increment means like it's not something I will have to define. The database will help me manage that number. And then the second part is name. I'm basically saying I want to store the name of the task.
Okay.
So I'm saying I'm storing 2 information in that task. So that's task information. Does anyone else have any questions about what
So the
this?
table has two fields, like an integer, like ID and
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. So ID is an integer and name is some text. Okay. So after that, we want to define a method for our application to connect to the database. And this is basically, so inside your app.py, just right after your app config from object, right after that line, write these 2 lines. And basically, this is a function that is going to, it's a helper function, and it's gonna, and basically, whenever you call something that needs your database, it will try to connect to it. And what it's saying is, like using a SQLite 3, SQLite 3 library, I want to connect to a database, and the name of that database is defined in a config that you defined at the top in capital letters, and that that config is stored inside this map, app.config map, and this app.config map is generated from the app.from object, app.config.from object line, app equal, I don't remember. But yeah, any questions right there, right now? Just do it right after this line. Right after this line. No. I don't know what's going on now. I don't want to. Okay. Okay. I'm assuming it's still sharing my screen. Okay. Does everyone?
Can you go back to it?
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay.
Okay, so what is the connected, or what does it return?
It returns a connection. I don't actually remember. What's up?
Don't worry.
It's a mistake to like pick a room right next to the keys. I don't know. I will find that answer for you later though. Any other questions?
So it's just like a connecting to the database?
Yeah. So basically this function connects to the database. I think it actually returns the actual like it's not, yeah, something like that. It's not necessarily, it's not really pointers, but it's like this like cursor or something that like gives you access to the database. Any questions? Has everyone got that 2 lines written in their app.py? Yeah. And then, so I am right now going to, fingers crossed, and it all works, and run this command in the terminal. If it doesn't, then we'll move on to the OR part. Can everyone confirm this successfully ran? I think if it successfully runs, you just don't see any output.
In what directory do we run this?
Just in your terminal. Yeah,
in that terminal.
Where, yeah.
.exe, the one you downloaded, right?
Oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah, but you have to have access to your SQL. I mean schema.sql too.
When you open up SQLite 3, it gives you a different terminal. You put it in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Did I confuse you?
Good. No, you're fine. Okay.
No, I have to change my.
Security setting.
When you download.
Because when you re-download, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What is it supposed to do with something?
System purposes? Okay, dot carry.
You don't, everyone, can you open yours?
If you can open yours, it's fine.
Yeah,
Go to
open-
SQLite
open
3.
that. Yeah.
And you're fine. It's just us.
I think it's in the security.
Yes. No, no.
2 gigabytes of 2.4. We are getting some.
Okay. So that was just
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Wait, go to general.
Where's the
And then
food at?
you had
Oh, like.
Sorry.
That's cute.
So do you run it?
Did it work? Okay, cross my fingers.
What?
Aren't you supposed to know out there?
Usually does.
We got
I got dot. Yeah, me too. I got
dot
dot.
arrow. Dot arrow. Tab dot
I
arrow.
mean, like, it doesn't like angry.
I don't remember.
Tab dot
No,
arrow.
she said that it will return nothing. Or it'll
So like
display.
your phone right there.
Yes.
I got nothing.
Good way or a bad way?
That's what I expected.
For us.
Probably also means I have it empty.
You need to go. Yeah. It's gonna, later than I can see the big one.
Is there a way that you can tell whether or not it's working?
Yeah, you could, so well, actually, I actually did, it
I
was
think
create
so, yeah.
a database thing, and you were /temp.
It's sent to like a cursor
Cursor up on someone.
to the database.
So,
It's kind of like.
Oh,
That means it's a folder. Oh, that worked.
Oh,
Yeah.
my G. It is fun.
row it.
Did you get the dot
Yeah.
thing? How?
For what?
Arrow.
Oh,
Tab
no, I didn't.
It
You guys have
Did
Brew?
nothing.
Brew, yeah.
Brew installs.
Oh,
On
into
the
the same
terminal?
one?
On my regular terminal, right?
Control C, I just.
And the SQLite terminal or the regular?
Now brew install.
What?
Three?
No, I'm not, I'm just commenting along.
I'll just say something.
Just following.
Basically.
Okay.
Now press option.
Oh, red light.
Up, up.
Oh.
So far, I'm just trying to get it to work.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? It was,
How do you install this? Yeah.
it was,
That's,
that one.
once it works, then we can actually
Yeah.
we have to have it like get all the locations. We have to have it like analyze the.
Yeah. You got it?
There's no such file or direct.
Where are we?
Yeah.
Is this what you're talking about?
Oh, it's a good one.
Is
What's
this for
on-
the
Yeah.
regular
That's
terminal?
what it is. Like location.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Geo.
Yeah.
Geo.
Wait,
That's
oh.
the name of the location. Is get on geo. Not
Yeah.
even all of them.
That's what I said.
You're supposed to.
Just once.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
And then find a way to one sort out eventually some like another like common.
Did you run brew in your regular terminal?
In the SQLite.
Called it.
Oh,
Display will probably take a while.
okay.
Can you go files?
Okay. So then I have to change it. Okay.
Okay, so, wait.
Yeah. See, once we get that,
I found a word.
Dang it.
So brew is like your best friend.
I think
I'll-
he has
I'll
much
figure it
easier
out.
to-
oh, like one already.
Oh, okay.
It's like back in the lab, it was like there's entire thing.
So now if you run that command again.
Potentially.
So, I think we should make our own.
And then we'll.
Oh, yeah, it's like that.
Like it already.
Did you manage to get it?
Yeah,
It's not been done.
Wait, so
There's no files
and
in
then-
Python.
once I fix it, then what's
Display
LS.
library.
Right, I'm just
'Cause I tried
Turn that
to-
again.
Then you
I
come.
tried to, it says, well, this is my auto.
Oh,
it's
okay.
okay.
Oh,
maybe
the
it says
library.
I'm not in the-
Yeah, you're not in it. You have to switch.
Yeah.
I actually,
It seems like. Okay, you're good. You have arrow.
What should be down?
Oh, yeah, do you get to guess
What should we get?
Yeah, I got that too.
We're good.
Okay. I don't know. Let's see.
Which track?
So I don't know, I feel like it's also, it's like the same as nothing, because it's like where the
Yours is
sequel like.
private. Yeah, it's
yeah,
supposed to run it.
So let's try.
I think that's how, just how the prompt is.
I wonder if
0.04 gigabytes. No, 0.04.
Oh, 0.04.
Come on.
I think that's.
Yeah, because you just hit enter, the same thing pops up.
Yeah.
What happens if you press enter?
Yeah,
Just the same thing pops up.
It's just.
In my home.
So that's
I
just,
think it's
it's just like waiting.
Yeah, I think it's the window system that's worrying me.
Yeah.
How about if you try and change it?
What are we supposed to do after this?
We go to the.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to fix the ... arrow. I don't think you're supposed to have a ... arrow. Yeah, for the Macs. Windows.
Yeah, go to the project. And then. I think if you do option.
What?
2 hours later. Just make sure none of our stuff got done.
That's probably
And my
important.
phone still does.
Do you guys want us to just bring down all your stuff?
Yeah, if we're going directly to, well, where, do we want to eat after?
My backpack's really heavy.
I think we have like Chinese food, like samu or something for dinner tonight.
Yeah. So
We can go back up there and get our stuff.
Yeah, we can.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I just need food.
It's 5 o'clock.
We do something, just
Oh, pizza.
2 pieces of pizza.
Yeah.
For each. I know.
Yeah, that's like it's taking.
So it's not like I'm only like using this statement if I.
Right. So it's just not
And
necessarily.
I'm almost done downloading all of this. So we're getting there.
But like,
I think it's the ... arrow thing is coming from file paths, because in the Pi I gave you a file path and it was for Unix, but Windows I need to give you something different. I'm not so for people on Windows instead of this, then you write this. No, I'm wrong. And then when you write, instead of
Where are we supposed to write this?
so you know how in the configuration,
Okay.
I told you temp to do db. So change it to that. C colon, so basically, and then when you run this command, instead of the temp to do C as well. And let me know if it works.
Yeah, where are we supposed to do it? Can you repeat? Where are we supposed to write that?
Yeah, so the configuration, you know how, do you remember in the configuration video we had capital database?
Yeah, database.
Equal, replace that with this. And then when you run this command, run it with like C colon instead as well. You guys trying to find cookies?
Cookies are.
Did you find cookies? Cookies.
You're stealing all your thunder.
Workshop. You have a question? Okay, like just give another like I think like 30 minutes and I'll be there. Did it work?
Wait a sec. So in the terminal, what are we supposed to type?
In the terminal, instead of temp to do, type
C colon.
yeah.
I don't think there is anything in the C directory named to.db.
Right, but I think you're creating it. That's what the. I hope the.
No, it's again the same.
Okay. Is there no piping? Or. I just moved my computer. Well, we will do it the alternative way then, which I was I should stop moving my computer. Come back. It's fine. If that doesn't work, we'll use the approach that I didn't actually want to go into doing. If my screen will come back.
Can we do it in a faster pace?
Yeah, we're gonna do it inside the app instead. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do if I could get my screen to show up. No input is detected. Really?
Middle one on the right side. Go through. Go through the back.
I'll go look for it. I'll find it.
Welcome to my screensaver. Okay, so we're back. The alternative method is if you go here, there is the alternate way of initializing the database. So add this to your imports and this function.
Where are we supposed to write that?
Just app.py under your connect. Connect. Like after the def connect return function, just do it after it. And then you run. So I think okay. Which big push comes after the most specific.
After the return.
Yeah, after return. Did it? Okay, and then so run a just type Python. So, here, let me look at it.
Yeah, you need anything? I'm gonna go home and pick up this stuff. I don't know if you want anything. I don't know.
Yeah, underscore.
Where? What's the folder?
The folder is
So I think I'm just gonna for the people doing Windows, like try and figure it out with you again. I'm just gonna keep moving forward now.
And I will make sure we'll figure it out. I don't know Windows file paths and how to do Python in Windows enough, apparently. All right. Oh no, we're not at the end. Sorry, misleading. So we set out here. I think people on the Mac has successfully initialized the database at least. So now we're gonna have like two again helper functions, and it's basically just put this anywhere in your, I guess, like any good spot. Like I would say that after like in connect DB, for example, after that function. And what these functions are doing is it's basically saying for every these are kind of like you probably haven't done unit testing, but like basically it's right saying like for every single request before you do anything inside that request function, call the before request function. And then after every single time after every request is handled, called a tier down request. And what it's doing is before your request is like the content of your request is your function is called, it's saying connect to the database, run your function, and then close the database. So it's kind of for every request now. So even if you do like I guess the side effect of this is even though you're not necessarily doing a request that is connecting to a database, it will still connect to the database and close the database. Which I guess is not that good, but for the simplicity, I've done it this way. So copy and paste this into your app.py as well, or good. I don't actually know how many people are following anymore because there seem to be a bunch of people sort of following. I don't know. Got really lost. I don't know who's actually following along, who's just listening. Yep. Yeah. Are you guys looking at the slide? You good? Okay. I mean, you could ignore this form. That's my indexation. Yeah. You could ignore this form action thing. That was just for a demonstration session. Okay. If once we have those functions copied in, thing is to basically show to-dos. So show is about probably the most complicated, the one big complicated process. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a new route that's called to-do. And I'm saying for the to-do, I want to execute the statement, select ID name from task. And then this is some basically grouping that information, like maybe people that know Python better than I do can explain this a little better, possibly, but it's basically saying like just say it's a list of tasks. For each task, it has information on both the ID of the task and the name of the task, and it returns, it renders a to-do template, HTML template, with the task list. So let's first add, so make sure you have the from Flask import G. And then, and also this, I created it.
Yeah, like I figured there was something.
Yeah, it's basically.
I think something.
Hopefully it was useful.
When did you start?
ACM? Yeah, freshman year. I wasn't really a board member. I wasn't a board member, but I kept going to board meetings. So they just like started giving me things to do. So I would our board elections happen in December. So if you want to get more involved with ACM, that's definitely a good option to do. But even if you don't like, or you miss elections, you just want to help out more, if you show up to board meetings, that's like a, huh? It's on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. in GFS. Nope. We change times every semester. So like this semester, that's the one and only time that like the whole board sort of works. It works for the whole board. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the first part of the show. If we go to the second part of the show, this is now the HTML. And all I'm doing, so even though I'm showing, it seems like I'm reading from the data and showing all the tasks, the content isn't that bad. I'm basically, again, I'm doing the extend to make sure I get my nav bar there. And then I am, for inside the body, I am basically saying, create a list. And in that list, this is where I'm looping it. For every task in task, print out the name of the task. And if the list is empty, if task is there is no task, just say there is no task. And then this is just a Python editing for loop right there. And that is what and at this point I think if everything at this point let's see. You should get, well, if everything was successful, I think you should be able to see, and you run your, everything compiled properly, you will see Woohoo no to-do profile. So in your browser. So where did we go? So that one is just basically giving you what you call your so what? Basically, yeah. So SQLite, you need the database by default. And I'm basically you're basically running that command.
Oh, okay.
Alright, did you manage to get the Oh yeah, 4 rounds. It's in one of them.
Oh, why not yet?
It's right here. It's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Are you tired? Are you get tired? Hungry. I am too. Who's here in 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Too much time.
I got it. You guys want the pizza? You did. Okay, I know everyone only had like what, one slice or something. It's a little hard to eat. They're actually floating with pizza. We used to only have too much pizza, so we're always like really weird about the pizza.
Yeah.
Sweet. If you guys did it, so.
I thought it was coming out.
Oh. Maybe I lied. I don't know. I'm not sure, but we have really delicious food. Like, I think there's like chow mein and like chicken wings and rice. It's like, well, we're just about done. Do you have a question? Which room were you in? We can just show you if you want. Okay, so we're actually nearly done. So just add to-dos now. So like again, so add this to your, you don't need to do this add insert SQL statement. That's just telling you what's going on, but really just like do this new import and create the routes for new and add. Basically, this is basically, it's a GET request to a page that lets you fill in the form. But it's the one that I would like to do in a head. There's one text box that I would type something. And this is what, and remember I told you like when you add, you will add, you should be doing post because you're modifying, you're sending data and you're modifying. So that's a push request. So, and basically these three lines are basically telling this equivalent of saying like insert into the task table like the name of the task. Like this name is the what you defined as the variable name for that table, like that spot in the table, and value name is like the actual like, content that you're passing. I'm sorry for everyone that's running Windows because I really don't know what's going on with SQLite.
Oh, whatever.
All right, yeah.
It's too late now.
I think they're copying right now.
Oh.
But I basically created like one text box and a submit button. And then my action is I just like action is URL for the and my method equals
Yeah, I don't know.
This is package. That's how it is.
So for the people who are following along that didn't get lost somewhere, we can't tell if it's only Discord or are you guys all following along too? I don't know. Are you following along as well? Okay. If you let me know when you guys are done with this. I see some typing still, and then I'll just show you. And then okay. So this is my. So create a new file under templates called anything you want really. I called it new to do. New _ to do, and that's the file you're asking. So create a, so under templates, and I use new _ to do.
Under templates. And then to do is also
Yeah. Basically anything that's like inside too much. And if you notice in your form right here, it's saying form action. I will add this to the slides later. I'll update the slides. There's also one slide that I got too tired. I wrote it in the corner. I don't know if anyone went to the last slide. But for the remove slide, I basically made it a GET request, but it really should be a post. And I wrote a disclaimer at the top. And I'll try to my best to update these slides by December with the correct information if you ever look at them again. Big emphasis on the if. But I will add this to as well so that you have reference to it. I think this whole project is also on GitHub if you want to reference the final version of the code. So now we can try to figure like add send that you can save your class.
It's cool.
The 9 to 5. Yeah, we'll be clicking out in a few seconds. Yeah, thank you. Style them. No, we technically don't have this one. I don't know. I think they're just locking them up. Kind of annoying. So we have like a small one. We could just one too. It's okay. Just go tell them. Basically, I think like we asked for all the classrooms you could give us in GPC, and we gave it. And I was like, these 5 rooms fit about 50 people. We're expecting about 150. So
Sounds like a really bad.
that's usually the classes study in the university. So if you do, so in your I don't know. I don't remember what in your to do. Do you have this link? To do.html.
No, it's
No.
the only thing is that I should do that here. Yeah, but it's extremely significant.
You have it? Okay. Quick. What's the camera down?
It's not big.
It's very big. Did it work? Hello? Yeah. Dennis? Hi. Yeah, 700 cups of cocoa. $140 per cup? Okay.
Bargain for one.
Oh my god, so much boba. Yeah. Oh.
Also like a
Look at all this experience. No.
It'll be in the You said this is your Chinatown.
My job's done.
Is it possible?
We're just gonna use it like in like then they'll probably like they'll be like not saying things. Like, oh, like I want, who's that from that team?
Show them like
It's like a recruiting.
a blank page. They're like, this is what they gave us.
And they're like, oh.
So
Running a hackathon.
that was
Oh no, so yes, we'll be passing it out.
for I know. Look at these things sponsored.
It's a Saturday. Saturday. Yeah. Can you give me your number so I could call back if we have any changes? I need to talk with to double check. Yes, please. Yep. 65. 328. And what's your name? Yeah. 4338. Okay, cool. Okay, when do I do this deposit by? Okay. Yeah, 700 is a lot over. I understand. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll call you back if I have any problems. Good. Okay, sorry that had to happen midway through, but we are having 700 cups of boba at Hackasee. So the 7. I'm not like a giant pig and ordered 700. It's for Hackasee. Where was I? I don't really remember. Did you?
Oh my, oh, it's tight. Did you figure out?
Did localhost show anything?
I know it's still loading.
Still loading. It feels like there's something on that port, but I have no idea why something would be running there. What did you call this? Here. In YouTube.
Oh.
Okay. Did you sort of figure it out, or like later? Do we have like one survivor out of this whole workshop so far? Two. Do you want to call it a day, or do you want to do remove as well? Because remove is technically not the best way to do it right now. I got too tired this morning to do it.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just make it less tasks.
We're live. Okay. Comment or feedback. Was that too difficult?
But it's like useful.
Yeah.
Like, I understand how certain things work now.
So are you gonna try and add a few more things to it? I actually think you could probably look into figuring out remove properly. Yeah. And if you want to, I'm going to be here until tonight, and then I'm going to be here all tomorrow. Like, you can feel free to reach out if you have any questions on Facebook, like even outside this hackathon, in terms of things, like Flask and stuff. I probably should know Flask better to do this workshop, actually. Like, I've used Flask a few times, but not as often as I probably should have by the time I do a workshop. But hopefully it was useful. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I don't know what time dinner is. No, this kind of that awkward. I should stop this screen. I'm gonna see myself again. That events.
Half hour.